Hi BookTube, my name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with my September 2021 TBR. Say it with me everybody, it's TBR time! Yay! So, for those of you who watched my last weekly reading vlog, the one that just came out on just the Sunday that just passed, you will know that this is take 2 of this TBR video. So, I had filmed this entire video like over a week ago, back I think around like the 20th or 21st of August. And I ended up being like an hour long. Like the entire video was not going to be an hour long. The thing was that because I was picking books, letting the camera, like my camera roll essentially, there was a lot that I had to edit out of it, which was fine. A lot of dead air, a lot of things like that. But I wanted it to be that way that I wasn't stopping and starting the camera, because I was afraid that something was going to mess up, but something messed up anyway. I think it's because the video was as long as it was. I'm not absolutely certain. So I know when I do this again in October, as I do certain parts of the video, I'm going to stop the camera and restart and just have another clip essentially. So what happened was on Friday morning, the Friday that just passed, I went to go edit that video, and partway through or halfway through the video, it totally, like, I had no picture, no sound, no nothing. So it was corrupt, clearly. So I messaged my friend Bree, and I told her because I was really mad. And I said, should I just go and repick everything? Because the first 16 books, I think, here. I don't know why I'm pointing at the stack of books I have here, because they're all digital. Those books I all picked like out of jars. Do I have them here? Yeah, okay, so one. So I had this adorable little jar that I am using for the Fall Under Reading Challenge. And then I have it's behind there. I have my TBR jar, my NetGalley TBR jar with prompts in it that I used to pick my August TBR. And Bree's like, girl, don't be crazy. Don't completely redo that. Because part of the thing has been, like, I picked that, and now I've put some of those books on hold at the library if I didn't have them, and stuff like that. So I'm like, no, I'm not redoing it. So full disclosure, normally in this video, you would see me actually picking out prompts and things like that, and then going to pick a book. That's not happening this month. So I will tell you the prompts that I got, and then I will show you guys the book that got picked, but you're not going to see me actually picking anything out of a jar. So it is what it is. But next month, I promise I will do that, and I know how to fix the issue I think that I had this time. So yay on that one. Without any further ado, let's talk about all of these books. So, first of all were the NetGalley jar picks. So the jar is behind here. Sorry, it's a mason jar, and it's got a Christmas tree on it. If you watched last month's, you saw it. It's got 50-ish prompts in it. So all I was doing was picking out a prompt and then finding a book on my NetGalley TBR shelf. If you're ever curious to see how many books I have to read from NetGalley, I have a shelf on my Goodreads. My Goodreads is always listed below. And it's called NetGalley TBR. So go ahead and peruse that at your leisure and judge me. No, don't judge me. This is a no judgment zone, people. A no judgment zone. So the first one that I got was pink on the cover, and I actually happen to have a physical copy of this one. And the book I'm picking for that is Can't Hurry Love by Melinda Curtis. This is the first book in the Sunshine Valley series. So clearly pink. There's pink here, pink there, pink there. I'm considering this to have pink on the cover. So it is working. I am very excited to get to this one. This also contains at the back a short story, I think, by Annie Raines, called, where is it? Kiss Me in Sweetwater Springs. So yeah, a novella. So if I get a chance, I will get to the novella, but if not, definitely for sure, well, as much as I can. I really want to get to this because it's been on my TBR for quite some time. Next up, I got Mood Read, which is odd for me. Like, I'm not generally a mood reader, but I just kind of randomized the list that I have, that NetGalley TBR list, and I went through them and just picked the first book that kind of struck my fancy. And in this case, it's The Girl from Widow Hills by Megan Miranda. This is a thriller novel, I believe, and I'm really looking forward to getting to it. The next one was Randomize, which I just used the Randomize function on Goodreads. So if you go to Goodreads, you guys can sort your shelf by title and author and, date read if you've read the book already or not. And you also have an option to sort it randomly. So if you pick randomize, it just randomizes whatever list you happen to be on. So that's what I did. The very first book that came up is the one that I picked. And the one that I got was Cold Case Double Cross by Jessica R. Patch. This is a Harlequin, it's a love-inspired suspense novel. And I'm really looking forward to it. It looks really good. I've read this author before and I like her work. So this one will be good, I'm sure. Next prompt that I got was Coming Soon, which means a book that's coming out soon, pretty much. I don't know why I felt the need to explain that. But what I did was, even though this is my September TBR, I'm picking a book that's coming out in October because I'm thinking ahead to coming the next month. So you guys missed seeing on camera my insane squeal of delight when I got this book. So essentially how I picked this one is that I also have a spreadsheet of all of my NetGalley books that I need to get to. And what I did was I picked like a random number. So whichever one that fell in the month of October is the one that I picked. And guys, I cannot wait. I'm reading a Christmas book and I'm so excited. So I'll be reading The Christmas Escape by Sarah Morgan. I am such a fan of Sarah Morgan's work. I'm so excited to be reading it early. So yay on this one. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. The next one that I got was a historical romance. So again, I just randomized the list. The first historical romance that came up is the one I'm going to read. And in this case, it's going to be In the Dark with the Duke by Christy Caldwell. This is the second book in the Lost Lords of London series. Historical romance. I'm pretty sure that these are self-published. I know that this book is available on Kindle Unlimited, in case anyone is curious. I'm pretty sure the whole series probably is as well. The next prompt that I got was single person. So meaning there is only a single person on the cover. So again, I randomized the list, and the first book that I saw that had a single individual on the cover is the one that I picked. In this case, we have The Secrets We Left Behind by Sonoria M. Lane. This is a historical fiction novel. I believe it's World War II, and I am very, very excited about this one. I cannot wait. I love a good historical fiction novel. I did say historical fiction. It's a historical fiction. There might be a romance in there, but it's definitely geared more towards fiction than romance. The next prompt that I got was a book that takes place outside of North America. So fun. So the book that I got is actually one that takes place in the Scottish Highlands, and it is, I love this. I am so excited about reading this one. We have The Rebel Wears Plaid by Eliza Knight. This is the first book in the, wait for it, Prince Charlie's Angels series. Like, come on. This is going to be so good. I can't wait. A good Scottish Highlander book, a historical Scottish Highlander book. I'm sold. I'm sold. And last but not least was Lowest Rated. Now, the one thing I did find out while I was doing my TBR, my original video, is that the one way it gives you the option, but you actually can't sort that way, is by highest to lowest rated on Goodreads. So what I actually had to do was export all my books onto an Excel spreadsheet, which I don't have Excel, so I had to use like a free version of it. It was very, very frustrating, people. And then what I had to do was sort it at that point by average rating on Goodreads, and then find the lowest rated that was on my NetGalley shelf. So it was a few extra steps, but I got there. I got there. So essentially also there were a number of books that were on my NetGalley shelf that actually had a rating of 0. And I made an executive decision not to pick any of those books. Reason being is that 0 rating does not mean nobody liked the book. 0 rating means nobody's rated the book yet. So how can it be lowest rated if no one's even read it and rated it yet? So I omitted those and I just went with the book that was the lowest rated. And I'm pretty sure this one was somewhere like a 2.3 or 3.2, one of those. I'm not absolutely certain, but it looks adorable. And it's Likes, Cats, and Dogs by Kate McMurray. It is book number 1 in the Whitman Street Cat Cafe series. So I'm very excited about this one. It looks super adorable. It's lowest rated, but I try not to look at those kind of things when I get into books. So yeah, I'm very excited. So the next set of challenges is the Fall Into Reading Challenge. Now, the Fall Into Reading Challenge is hosted by Tia over at Tia and All the Books, Rainey from Rainy Day Reads, Angie from Literary Labors, and Amanda, I believe it is, from The Curly Reader. I will leave link to all of their channels down in the description box below. To Tia's especially because it's, well, I'll leave link to all of their announcement videos below. So there is a prompt card for this, and I will put the prompt card up here. There's actually two. So one prompt card gives you 15 prompts in total, 5 per month, because this challenge runs from September to October to November. So it's 3 months. They did this last year, and I had so much fun with it. And then there's a second prompt card, which is the one I'm showing you guys here, which gives you 8 prompts a month, so 24 in total. So I am going for the 8 prompts a month. What I had done was I had written them all down on paper and put them in here, and then on that original videos I pulled them out, and it was super duper fun. But now it's lost to technology. I'm very upset about it. Legitimately, I'm laughing, but it kind of ticked me off. So, same as I did last year with the Fall Into Reading Challenge, I am kind of pushing myself more towards picking books that are autumnal, either fall-esque covers or are spooky, maybe thrillers, mystery. Like, I'm trying to shy away from, for these books specifically, the, very happy, and no, it might be a happy contemporary romance, but this is clearly like a spring, summer cover. Do you know what I mean? So I'm trying to go more with the fall and that season, or like I said, thrillers or mysteries. So here's the prompts that I did get. The first one was YA, and the book that I picked for that, I've been really itching to read this book because they say it's a cross between The Babysitter's Club and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Is the Babysitter's Coven by Kate Williams, book number 1 in the Babysitter's Coven series. There's 3 books now, I think, in this series, and I can't wait to get to it. This looks so, so good. I bought a copy of this on Kindle a long time ago. Like, I think when it first came out, and I still haven't gotten to it yet, so perfect reason to get to. The next one is a beloved author. So I decided to go with Heather Graham, because as you guys know, I am a huge fan of Heather Graham, and she does great spookier paranormal type stories. And this is actually a reread for me, but it's been a number of years because I am rereading my way through the Crew of Hunters series that she does. And I'm up to book 4. Finger counting is hard for me. And so I'll be reading book 4 in the Crew of Hunters series, and that is The Evil Inside, of course, by Heather Graham. It looks really spooky. I believe it takes place in like a New England town. I mean, isn't New England town, like small New England town, kind of synonymous with like autumn? At least I think it is. As someone who doesn't live in one, that's what I think about it. The next book is Leaves on the Cover, and I'm really excited about this one. So the book that I have for this is The Single Dad's Holiday Match, and this is by Tanya Alger, book 1 in the Smoky Mountain First Responder series. Now, this is an e-ARC copy. This does not come out till, I think, October or November. Brie and I are fortunate enough that we're actually going to be interviewing the author on the Categorically Romance podcast in the very near future, and she sent us an e-ARC copy of the book. So I am really looking forward to it. It's a Thanksgiving. It takes place around Thanksgiving, so I'm very excited. I love the cover with the pumpkins and the leaves. Perfectly autumnal. I can't wait to read this one. The next one that I got was a contemporary, and as I said, trying to shy away from the beachy, summery contemporaries, I went with this one I happen to find on the Harlequin website, actually, and this is The Sweetest September by Liz Talley. This is book 1 in the Magnolia Bend series. Now, I did say I found it on the Harlequin website, but you can no longer buy e-copies or physical copies there. This book is available on Kindle Unlimited. It's got a different cover. This is the original special or super edition cover from Harlequin. And I'm a big fan of this author. I've been reading her for years. I've been reading her super romance books for years. But I guess she got her rights back to the books and she republished them independently. So I'm looking forward to getting to this one. September's in the title. It's a contemporary. It sounds delightful. Next up, a historical fiction. So I had already the World War II historical fiction, that the one that I'm reading for the Neck Alley Challenge. So I started thinking, I'm like, I didn't want 2, like World War II historical fictions, and I hate to say it, but there's a plethora of WW2 historical fictions. Like, it's like pretty much all that people write about. And I mean, they're good, but I didn't want to do 2 in a row, like 2 in the same month. So I did find this book. I found it on Goodreads when I looked to see what new releases were available from like historical fiction books. And I found this one, and I'm very, very excited about it. And it was available from my library like immediately. So I went ahead and borrowed it. So it's the first book I'm going to be getting to in September. And it's called The Woman's March by Jennifer Rainey. Am I saying her name correctly? I know she's written a number of other books about Lincoln or Lincoln's wife or something like that. I haven't read her before, but I'm very excited. So this is about the women's movement to get the vote. And I love it. I love it. I'm so excited. The cover's really nice, isn't it? So I'm really looking forward to this one. Next up, a book published in 2021. So for this one, I picked another Harlequin novel, and this is a historical that comes out in October. No, it comes out in September, but I already have a copy of it, and that's called A Scandal at Midnight by Annie Burroughs. The fact that it's got the word midnight in the title, it's kind of a darker cover. It's not like a really cheerful, it just gives those autumn vibes to it. So I thought it would work perfectly. The next one is, a nonfiction book. So this one I'm really excited about. Now, I was originally going to save this for Nonfiction November because I have a couple of books from NetGalley that are nonfiction that I want to read in November. But this one came up and I thought, why not? We'll just read it now. A nonfiction would be fun. And if I don't get to it now, I'll read it in November. It's not a big deal. But this one definitely had that darker twist to it. And this is A Dark History of Tea by Serena Charrington Hollis. So yeah, it's essentially the darker history of tea. And if you guys know, if you watch my channel, I'm an avid tea drinker. So I am very interested in this book and to see what it's all about. And yeah, I think it's going to be fun. And last but not least is science fiction. So originally when I saw the list that Tia and the girls put together, there were about 7 prompts that I pre-picked. So most of them, as I was sitting here, if I pulled out like a historical fiction, I went and hunted out a historical fiction novel. But like in the case of science fiction, I'm not someone who reads science fiction. And I knew it was going to be a lot harder for me to find a science fiction book that I might be interested in. So I went ahead and pre-picked like that one, fantasy, I think the middle grade. I can't remember. There was a couple of them. Graphic novel is one that I pre-picked. So if I pull those out of the jar, I will have already had them picked, so it's nice and easy. And sci-fi, like I said, was one of them. But I happened upon this book on Goodreads. Again, I was looking up science fiction books on Goodreads. And this one was also available at my library. And it's a middle grade. And it just sounds delightful. And it's called Cia Martinez and the Moonlit Beginning of Everything by Raquel Vasquez Gilead. And I think that this one is something about, oh my gosh, what does it say? I have to read it to you guys. Like the little beginning bit on of the back cover of the book. I did this the first time, like when I did this, when I put this list together, excuse me. So here we go. Just let me go to Goodreads. Bear with me just a second here. So I'm just going to read you this one line. A Mexican-American teen discovers profound connections between immigration, folklore, and alien life. Does that not sound delightful? I'm so excited. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a YA. It's not a middle grade. It's a YA novel. But it sounds really good, and I'm really, really excited about getting to it. Like I said, I think I already have it out from the library, or I'm on hold at the library for it. So once it comes in, I'm really looking forward to reading it. So the next group of books I'm going to share with you guys is book club. So I have 3 of them. Now, I'm not a member of 3 book clubs. Well, I am. I'm a member of 2. Sort of. So the first one, of course, is the Book Sisters Book Club that is hosted by myself and Bree and Chloe. And every month, what we've been doing, we changed it up in August, and we pick a word or a theme. And Chloe picked the theme of school for September. Perfectly appropriate, which is awesome. And we're also going to be switching around. Like, I'm picking October. I already know what it's going to be. And shockingly enough, my friends, it's not going to be anything witchy or paranormal. I went another direction with it, so you'll have to stay tuned to hear what that is going to be. But anyway, Chloe picked the theme of school. So I started thinking, I'm like, okay, what book could I read that has to do with school? And I realized I've had this one on my shelf for a while and haven't gotten to it yet, and I've heard a lot of good things about it. So I'm going to be reading Educated by Tara Westover. So I'm really, really looking forward to this. This is a memoir about her pretty much. Tara Westover was 17 the first time she set foot in a classroom. So yeah, I think this is going to be really, really good, and I'm super excited about reading it. The other book club that I'm sort of kind of a member of is the Who Picked This Book Club, which is hosted by the lovely Nicole over at Who Picked This Book. That's her channel. I'll leave it linked below. Every other Wednesday, and soon it's going to be like every Wednesday, she does a live show and she has other people on and they talk about a certain book. So right now they're doing a reread. For them it's a reread. For me it's my first read through of the Brie Baker series. What's it called? The Seaside Cafe Mysteries. So in September there will be one book that we're reading, which is the newest release. The next book comes out in March, so March of 2022. So when that book comes out, I'll be on that live show as well. But I am going to be on this one, and it's, can we talk about this cover and title? Partners in Lime by Brie Baker, book number 6 in the Seaside Cafe Mystery Series. I'm so excited. It's going to be so much fun. I am currently reading book 5, so yay on that one. And the last book club book, if you will, is one actually for the podcast, because Brie and I are going to be re-talking to author Pippa Roscoe. She's amazing. Absolutely a delight to talk to. But we're all reading a book together. So we're going to read this book together and then talk about it on the podcast. And that book, for all my spicy romance friends out there, we have Playing Her Rules by the great Amy Andrews. And this is book number 1 in the Sydney Smoke Rugby series. So I am very, very much looking forward to that one. So the next group of books here is ones I've already talked about. I did an entire video on my library haul, but for those of you who did not see it, I will just go through them again really quickly here. These are the books I picked up last week from the library that I'm going to get to in September. So we have Wrangler's Rescue by B.J. Daniels. This is part of the Montana Cahill series. It's book number 7 in that series. Then we have The Great Sarah MacLean with Brazen and the Beast. This is book number 2 in the Bare Knuckle Bastards series. Pardon me. Then we have Jace by Sasha Summers, which is part of the Kings of Country series. It's book number 1. Another fun contemporary. I'm in the mood for historicals, clearly, because then I have The Earl Next Door by Amelia Gray. This is book 1 in the First Comes Love series. And then I have Bringing Down the Duke. This is by, what's her name? Eva Dunmore. And this is book number 1 in a League of Extraordinary Women series. So I'm looking forward to that one very much. This one was a pick based solely on the cover, but it sounds super, super good. Beauty Among the Runes by Janelle Krashelski, I believe is how you say her name. So yeah. This is a World War I, 1914. World War I historical. So sounds great. And then last but not least, this one I've heard from several people. They made a comment, so I can't remember who it was, who started reading this and said they couldn't get through it. I think it was Melissa over at Libraries and Labradors. She said it was just too sad and she couldn't continue. So we shall see what I think about it. The Book of Lost Names, and this is by Kristen Hamill. So, sorry for the glare. I'm very, very much looking forward to getting to that one too. So that's the library books. Just a few more here, you guys. I also did a video last week for the What's on My Kindle Part 1 of 7,082, because I have so many Kindle books. And what I did was I went through the 20 oldest books I had on my Kindle, and any of those books that I hadn't read yet, the picks went into a jar, and then I picked one of them out, and I'm going to read that one in September. So the book I picked is actually a reread, because I really want to reread it. I read it the first time in 2016, and I want to give it a reread now. And that book is Reconstructing Amelia by Kimberly McCrae. This is a thriller, a domestic thriller, I think about a single mother, and from what I'm remembering, like I said, I've read it before, and I know the basic idea of the plot. I could tell you this is what kind of happens, but I don't remember how it ends. So I'm really looking forward to reading that one again. And last but not least, I picked 3 books from Kindle Unlimited. Because, again, I say this all the time. I'm paying for KU, but I'm not using it. So I literally have a wish list on Amazon that's just labeled Kindle Unlimited. And every time I see a KU book that sounds good, I plop it on that list. So all I did was I kind of scrolled randomly through the list and picked 3 books. And here we are. So I'm very much looking forward to these. So the first one we have is Until the Day I Die by Emily Carpenter. This is a thriller, I believe. The next one we have is In the Deep by Lorth Ann White. Now, when I got this book, when this book came up, I'm like, that author sounds really familiar. She used to write back when it was still the Silhouette Intimate Moments series, and I think for Harlequin Intimate Moments. It's now the Romantic Suspense line. So very excited about this one. And last but not least, we have a cute little contemporary romance, Her Last First Dance by Melanie Johnson. And I'm really looking forward to this one as well. So I know that was a lot of books, you guys. I know. It was a lot of books. I know. But as I say in every one of these videos, would I like to get to all of these books? Yes. Do I think I'm going to? Probably not. But I have a ton of choice, which is the great thing. Like, for sure, the book club books are going to get read. That's a guaranteed. You know, I'd really like to make sure to get to the library books if at all possible. I'd really like to get to the Neck Alley books. Like, all these books I want to get to. If I get to them, I get to them. If I don't, that's fine. That's fine. I have a lot of choice, which is super fantastic. So anyway, you guys, I will list all of the books that I talked about in the description box below, along with links to Nicole's channel and Tia and Rainey and Angie and Amanda. So you can check out all of their channels and show them some support as well. And let me know what books you have on your September TBR. And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.